Hello, and welcome back finally everyone to Napoleon Total War as the British. After a good month or so of a hiatus, I do apologise, just got some stuff on at the moment, it's been distracting me. But we're finally back, going to make a good effort at this series because we are finally in the closing months of this series, I believe. If we look at our objectives, we have 5 of the total 7 specific victory regions held. We do need to take Hanover, which is our aim for today, I think, against Prussia. And then, of course, we do need to take, if we can get down there, the Balearic Isles over here in Parma, which will be a bit of a tough ask with the amount of men they have there. Otherwise, we're looking pretty damn decent. We have quite a few years to do it, 4 in-game years to do so, if for some reason things go really badly and we lose all these armies. We've got time and money to recuperate from that. If we look at our prestige, as what I was looking for, we can see that Prussia's military is a rating of 475, while ours stands at 865, with actually Austria standing at 736, which is rather interesting. If we got backstabbed by Austria, we would really be in trouble there, but I'm sure that'd be fine. We are allied with them, and in fact Prussia is at war with Austria, so they are aiding us. We might find that actually Austria moves against Munich over here, which is great stuff. So we don't have the Prussian army over here anymore, which is absolutely brilliant. So that was raiding and harassing our backline of Stuttgart, but that does leave our supporting army down here a little battered, but that's absolutely fine. They are, the rear defenders, and there's nothing else really to threaten them in this area, which is excellent. So they've done their job very well. Otherwise, so we might think about taking Munich, just to, a bit more balance of power in our favour at the strategic level there. But again, might find that Austria beats us to it. The main goal, once again, for today is to take Hanover. Now, the problem with that is we can't move on there just yet, can we? Oh, we might be able to, actually. My only worry is perhaps Blucher over here, because he does have movements to this area, so he can counter-attack with his, few units, which isn't the bother. Actually, Anton Wilhelm over here is a bother with his nearly full stack, and that's actually can't reach us just yet if we look at his movement. So it might be an idea to hit this 11 unit stack over here, despite them having live grenadiers, which is an elite Prussian unit. We're pretty damn decent over here ourselves with Abercrombie, and I believe he has a trait for siege expert to increase his command when besieging. So he's the man for the job here, as well as all of this command when attacking on land, and more morale during battles as well is always useful, as compared to Michael Stoll, who has very similar actually stats, and actually much better, but he can't make it this turn, unfortunately. But not a problem. Let's go straight into it, I think, and shave off the rust. So the enemy does have their standard armed citizenry garrison helping them out here, so it will be a bit of a slog. While these are easy to crush, at the face value of it, they do like to return quite frequently after being initially routed, and they do have 500 men per regiment, to remind you there. How do the live grenadiers stand up to us? Well, they have 45 accuracy and 11 morale with 0 chevrons of experience. If we go to our single chevron marines, they're very comparable at 47 accuracy and 14 morale there. So superior, but not by much. Let's get into it. So, before we press start battle, let's run down our initial plan, which will of course change as we fly through the battlefield. So we're going to go very heavy on our left flank. We're going to once again attempt to avoid a town battle directly. It does not favour us whatsoever over here, with just very lack of good melee engagement stats and such. We do have very standard line infantry and a good number of light infantry, which do not perform well in close quarters engagements. So Going to go up with both units of cannons on our left flank, push up to perhaps this area of the hill here. So we do have a bit of an overlook through the town and perhaps bounce our shots and arc them over to the armed citizenry and the Landwehr on our left flank there. Perhaps even sit up over here towards the tree line so we can shoot down into the central line, as I believe the enemy might try and curve around to adjust to face us as we move through. And we're going to back that up by just very standard line infantry over here. 1 unit of Royal Marines on this area here, and of course 2 units of Lightsfoot and 2 standard line to branch out. They're going to be very thick in their formation at the moment, but they can branch out later on as we do get extra space to maneuver. Over here we have 1 group, I thought that might flip over if we double tapped, to take over this hill area over here, get on top of this particular building and really threaten downrange of this hill towards the house over here against the musketeers and more elite units there. As I believe, actually, where are the live grenadiers? They will, of course, move later on over here in the core of the army, being the enemy's reserves. So we're going to move over with our heavy cavalry as well as some dragoons, some light dragoons rather there. Because the map, I believe, is a little more open then, just gives us more freedom to manoeuvre. We do have 2 units of Royal Marines over here to back them up as we need. So let's get going. Well, initially the Prussians looked to abandon this hill entirely, but we can see that they're pushing with the hordes of minor infantry units over here. So we're going to pretty much halt our cannons immediately and face over with a less than ideal mound blocking our sight there. We're going to have to readjust our infantry lines as well and maybe even double time up there immediately. It will make us tired, but we do need to get on top of there as soon as possible. Let's double time with everything else as well to really make that, and certainly unlimber our cannons sooner rather than later. Now with this line units, I think we can move up to missile cannons. And with these 2 we can back up our light infantry there. Enemy is focusing this area, as you can see, so we should really be pushing this area a little heavier, I think. We'll get around to that in just a second as we make sure our cannons fire properly. I think we can instantly open up with some canister shots actually. Yeah, just about in range against the armed citizenry and now Landwehr coming in. I think once we've got our first volley out, we can use the barrage ability. And yeah, that is actually getting effective shots out, so that's brilliant. Yeah, look at that, it's lovely stuff. Many people already downed. Are we about ready to fire out? So looks like we're just getting the edge of our line sorted out here. Enemy's probably going in for a melee charge there, so we need to shatter them immediately. And there we go. Sometimes you just need to will. Put your will in hard enough and it will happen. You manifest destiny, quite literally. And there we go, look at that. If we can get those, actually what we need to do is use our cavalry while they're routing to completely shatter them and rout them off permanently. So what we can do is go to round shots, take off fire at will, and make sure we're shooting at the Landwehr approaching. See if our cannons do in fact listen to that, because we know they can be a little less than responsive as the enemy tries to get some cannon fire into us. Have we taken any casualties off of that? It's difficult to tell. In fact, getting 2 unit cards here with the numbers, it looks like. It's probably just my res. Let's take off fire at will for now, because we might just be... yeah, come on. Need to realign here because we've charged through our men, which is a little silly. Have we moved our cannons over? Are you going to listen? That's the question. Sometimes you need to fiddle around with the options. There we go, that'll do. Aiming centrally now, we can get rid of this Landwehr. How are we doing on this flank? We do need to move over finally. Let's try and take this hill immediately. That's actually right on the edge of the map. You can see the barrier there. The enemy did pick up some minor reinforcements while we were on the move. They picked up some cannons from a neighbouring army. Absolutely not a problem. Cannons will very soon, if we keep advancing, be obsolete in this battle. How are we doing over here? And in fact, we've reduced one unit of cannons down to simply 2 out of 4, which is excellent, with some excellent counter battery. And I think our cavalry needs to have a bit of a rest behind the brow of the hill there, take cover. So, what are we going to do now? I think we keep our cannons here. And we push up with our infantry, don't we? Let's take this hill. Over here. Looks like they're pushing up with some armed citizenry. Cavalry can sort that out. Armed citizenry aren't trained, so they can't perform squares. Push up with our light infantry. Protect our cannons, I think, over here with this unit for now. That can act as some minor reserves. If we just push up with our general out of the cannons direction there. How we're doing against their artillery there. We've reduced them down to half capacity here as well, which is excellent. Let's get another barrage out. It doesn't hurt, we've got a loss of them. Get the shots in while we can. And while the enemy's rather confused, that'd be great stuff. So, I've limbered our cannons back up with the hopes of redirecting ourselves to this area and sent in this unit of light dragoons against the enemy cannons, but now hesitant to actually fulfill this order because they're now supporting with their own cavalry. So what we're going to do is push in to the flank over here, if we can. It's been a little unresponsive today. So hoping to do that to free up our infantry over here rather than charge in and take canister shots to the face ourselves. And we did rush to secure a position over here because the enemy was looking like it wanted to really have a look at us over on this hill. But we can slowly move up now, give ourselves a bit of space over here to stretch out and just close the enemy in on this flank. So if we go back to our cannons, we can probably move them now. We certainly can. Let's sit them over here. They can double time because they are horse artillery. And are we firing out over here? Looks like we are. So we have some armed citizenry trying to tangle with us and skirmish. Not a problem, we can certainly beat them down. There we go, lovely. How we're doing? Getting a few hits in. Just a few. Looks like the enemy wants to try and flank around into the town though. So we're going to have to engage there. Not going to be the easiest defence though. We need our cannons back up on this hill and they're almost in position there. How are we looking over here? Oh, we need to double time this because we're right on the flank of some hussars who appear to have not noticed us. Been standing next to cannons too long, made some death. We should absolutely batter these, and this is their acting general, so if we can get rid of him, we'll be looking great. Oh, we are taking some friendly fire there because we're slightly uphill there on the rear. So it's okay, we can take that. Killed their general. Let's take off fire at will so we don't get any more friendly fire. And what we could do is, because we're so close to the enemy now, is we can swap out our lines and put the actual line infantry on the front there. How are we doing over here? Need to unlimber back up. How are we doing? The Landwehr is taking some morale shock because we're now firing with our Royal Marines. You can see our reloading. Gotta love a good line fire by rank. Right down the town though, should be about ready to fire us again very soon. I'm gonna wait for that, here we go. Oh, lovely. Absolutely brilliant. Second rank fire. Oh, great stuff. How are we doing kills wise though? We are getting some decent hits in. I think what we can do... No, they're protected over here by some musketeers. We can't really take this open space just yet because that will range us. Okay, that's an interesting one. So it has become a bit of a town battle. I think what we can do is skirt around the back over here. Curl around, take a long route round, come down this valley into the trees. Okay, now what we can do is turn this back on. And we are threatening these limbered up cannons. Okay, interesting. That's very interesting. I think what we do is a bit of a lightning strike into this cannon because we're going to start taking some heavy fire over here. What we do is we scooch over into the corner, protect our flanks there. And yeah, what we can do is just order this a little better. No, bugger it. Bugger it. We'll run through our own lines. We're all good. We're all good. Come on. Oh, come on. Yeah, we're really tangled up here. Okay, so they've set up now. We're taking canister shots. Let's go straight in. Need to go straight in. Rear charge with this cavalry to cause confusion. And how are we looking over here? Okay, we need to just thresh him hard. We need to thresh him very hard indeed. Take some cover over there. Another barrage, please. Right into the centre. Deactivated that. Units of cannons. Move straight on to the next, please. Good morale shock over here. Taking a bit of fire, are we? That's from the Landwehr. And armed citizenry will be engaged in the tree line, though. Not ideal, of course, for our cavalry to be engaging in the tree line. Yeah, okay. Okay, well, they're going to get up by choice anyway. Because we are now engaged by... What's hurting us there? A big square. A big old square has been hidden by the tree line. Let's get a rear charge into this unit. Help us out there. If we can move. Have routed so far that armed citizenry. Do we need to perform a square ourselves? No, that is infantry, of course. That's good. Absolutely mass confusion across the board for both sides here. This cavalry can sit out the entire battle now. It's done its work. Have caused confusion amongst these musketeers, giving us the upper hand against the armed citizenry here. If we get a good solid rear charge over here, we can rout that off. And there we go. Yeah, we do want to make sure this armed citizenry and some horse artillery once again has detached from its cannons. Need to make sure they permanently rout off. Once again, just redirecting to the centre onto these musketeers. Watching out for the grenadiers. Looks like we have managed to rout them off with our charge, which is excellent. Let's take full use of this and get back on top of these cannons for now, actually. Yeah, look at that. We nearly took a melee charge there. Whether that was from their routing area or not. Let's get rid of them now. So a lot of casualties on both sides today. As ever. Who wants walkovers anyway, eh? Who wants walkovers anyway? It's what happens when the enemy just tests your patience. You need a lot more patience than I do for playing this game. And we just use our cavalry to chase everyone off because that is pretty much a victory. Just waiting on, I think, 1 or 2 units. Have a unit in the town over here flanking. Good thing we're live to that, eh? Let's double time that. And we do still have this unit over here. Okay, well, that unit's probably going to return, so we'll just check our flanks, push up over here, and turn to face over here. Yeah, okay, so with this being a settlement battle, we should demolish everyone in one go if we get a victory. So we don't need to worry too much about running people down. It's just for the sake of making sure this huge bulk of infantry doesn't return anytime soon while the battle's still happening. We need to push up into the town again, don't we? Okay, so let's take our cannons off of auto fire now, because we are going to get some friendly fire from that. Got some experience on these Marines. Excellent stuff. I've taken a lot of losses though. Yeah, it's just some very awkward firing angles here. Very, very awkward indeed. What we can do is move down this lane now. We're not actually winded or tired at all here, so we'll just double time that small area. This is armed citizenry. We could go into melee with that. We do have far superior ability to fight some melee here. Looks like it might be forced into melee anyway with how they're manoeuvring here. That's an interesting one. Okay, if that's how they want to fight, we can certainly take that. Are they forming a square here? They certainly are. Alright. How are we doing chasing people off the battlefield? Pretty much okay. It's just our worst fears being realised that it's now a town battle. I'm not happy for that at all. given up on the square apparently with these musketeers. They're going to run straight into our own fire if we can get our formation sorted. Looks like we're just finishing up this move order here. We'd like to do that before they decide to face us properly here. Is that going to happen any time today, guys? Come on. Sounding the drums. They've noticed them. We're going to pop off now. Come on, you know you want to. Just a few people reloading on the end there. Just fire. We're going to give the order directly for a change. Come on. Come on. You can do it. Oh dear. How are we doing otherwise? We do still have that... okay, we do still have the square there. Yeah, firing on that. That was keep them rousing. Lovely stuff. Broken and very tired. We can fire onto that square here. Should be firing onto that as well from this angle. So they are surrounded. Won the melee engagement here, pushing them back. Oh, we've got basically no one in this cavalry regiment. Okay, let's just double check where we are with our cavalry. Lovely. Just on the sides. Have chased people down. Let's keep doing so. And that will be a victory. Lovely stuff. Just mopping up now. Well, somehow the computer thought that was a heroic victory. It's certainly not our greatest amount of losses among this campaign, but it's not an honourable and proud amount either. But we do take Hanover finally, and that is a victory objective completed there. We also have a better command when besieging. So exactly what is the damage? Didn't lose anyone outright, and actually across the board we're looking pretty damn healthy. Most of that will replenish in one turn, which is excellent because one turn is really all we have to recover safely. We do have a good supply warehouse here, and I am going to upgrade that, even though it's taking 6 turns. We have to assume that Prussia do still want to fight on. Let's have a look. Go to request peace. Can we give them any technology? Let's see. Let's go for plateways, and we'll offer a good amount of money. Offer them 9,000, and it's a good peace. Excellent, lovely stuff. Still hostile towards us, so it's a bit of an uneasy peace, of course. But that does give us some breathing room to readjust our forces. So, are we actually at war with anyone? Let's refresh our memories. We are still at war with the Kingdom of Saxony. Perhaps I can arrange peace now that the main belligerent is out of the way. Let's just ask for a standard peace. They've said no. Okay, not a problem. What we can do is once again offer them a good few useless techs like diamond formation, top gallants in a landlocked country, as well as carronade. I'm sure they make great use of that on any rivers they have. And we'll also go for 6,000 there, and that's lovely stuff. They say yes to that. So that keeps our flanks secure and hopefully improves our relations with Prussia as we see that we do want to stay and have a global peace with everyone else, with all of their friends. So if that peace does, in fact, last more than 3 or 4 turns, we can move over and look at Parma. So on the next turn, we have a letter of demands from Württemberg. That's because we're not garrisoning there. That's absolutely fine. They do have quite the high resistance to foreign occupation there, so we are just going to have to garrison that for a good number of turns. Despite our monumental income there, accepting them from tax is a little too much. That's a step too far there. So we also have a couple technologies research. We have dialectics and limited liability companies. Let's remind ourselves of exactly what they do. So dialectics are very useful because it should unlock the Supreme Court options for our justice and tax office buildings. What that also does is further boost technological research rates and all diplomatic relations, as well as unlocking the final tier of university and Masonic lodges there, so the spy buildings. So right at the end of the game, when we only have a handful of technologies left, To be fair, it's actually fairly useful because we're in the double digits for research times, even with tier 2 universities and gentlemen in a good handful of them. So further reduced technological time is excellent stuff. Semaphore lines of sight range, is that really more important than standardized artillery? Not really, is it? It's just not. It takes 15 turns, but it's not the greatest of bothers. Yeah, that's going to take the same time with waiting in regards to that, so it's not a problem. We have recruitment in Spain, and we have recruitment in France, which is great stuff. We also have trade ships available because Nelson is sitting on a big lump of spices. So just to prove how useful that is, we'll take one trade ship, and that's paying for itself multiple times over with 940 income off of that, with the upkeep just for that ship is 25. It's absolutely amazing what trade can do for you in this game. Spices, I believe, at the moment is one of the top tier resources. They do fluctuate the tiniest bit, but they do stay around the general ballpark. That's ministers is the wrong one. Trade, let's see, spices at 42 gold per unit, which is great stuff there. Of course, ivory is always going to be the top. We did have another one about, did we? No, is that everyone? Yeah, that's everyone. It's 3 for now. Lovely stuff. So, what else do we want to do? What do we want to do? Well, I think we use our masses of money. Did we make these up? No, we didn't. So we got the Supreme Court. Can that only be made in our actual capital then? Because you have a Court of Appeals there, and that's the same as Madrid, but we can't upgrade that. So that's very interesting. So that'll take 12 turns and 12,000 gold there. What exactly did that do? More of the same, really. The bonus to nationwide. Nationwide effects only apply. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. Okay, there's a bonus to prestige, perhaps. Increased tax rates. Get passports and national propaganda as well. So, let's upgrade our universities. We'll upgrade the lodge here. We are starting to create an army over here, aren't we? Do we have anything else in the recruitment pool? Yes, we do. That's great stuff. So, we don't have a spare general at the moment. Let's have a look at that. Can't remember exactly what the point of this army was. Perhaps we were thinking about going to war with Austria. It's just a home guard. So we have aggressive attackers, not the greatest, more morale, top tier, and drill master is okay, but I believe, once again, these bonuses, when it says infantry campaign movement range, you only really see a difference when there's nothing dragging you down. So you don't want artillery in a army to actually see the bonus of this. We'll take the +1 to morale. It's always useful. It's a universally good trait. We were wary of this fleet coming from Portugal, you know. So only a few frigates, but it's carrying a full stack of land units. That's rather worrisome. We'll just move our line ships closer, keep tabs on that. How are our relations with Portugal? They're hostile. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Do we go for this just to be sure? Do have a full stack in the harbour over here, which is why we're recruiting in Spain. Yeah, that is very... I've accidentally just... That's a massive misclick, but not a problem. Have some infantry units. Let's make some more. That actually... Oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. If we could take this down to Portugal, can't we? So... What we want is actually cannons and cavalry out of this. Don't have the greatest arsenal over here. What do we have in France? We actually have a much better one there. Tell you what, we'll take off the line infantry here. We'll go for howitzers are fun and useful. We'll go for 3 of those. Is there anything else that will take more than one turn? I might want to take the heavy dragoon guards. Yeah, okay. They're always good. Yeah, we'll go for that. That'll be lovely stuff. And we'll carry on recruiting some infantry over here, I think, just to keep us safe. So that will take 2 turns to get over to Madrid if that does move immediately. So we'll keep an eye on that fleet for now. We won't attack it just yet. That's pretty much all we've got to do, unless we've got a bit of housekeeping. We've got to be really nitpicky about upgrading literally everything. But at this point of the campaign, it's more for flavour and just so things are a bit nicer for you. Do need to repair these after our riots. Yeah, it's just things for convenience sake at the moment. Really. So, I think that's pretty much everything we can do there. Let's pull back this army over to the Denmark territory. And we can move up to here to protect in case we get backstabbed. We can actually move up over here as well with this army, or can we? Because we can't really afford to at the moment, because even exempting from taxes isn't really going to do much. So we need to fill this up with garrison, really, don't we? Some militia. Let's see how this peace holds up, though. So the next turn, an agent has been detected. That's absolutely not a problem. We've got a big queue of Austrian forces over here. Are they still at war with Prussia? They certainly are. And at war with Denmark, Norway, which is interesting because they're nowhere near each other. And the Denmark-Norway is just Norway. Not a problem. George Townsend has -1 command when leading cavalry. That's interesting. You do have a good few units of cavalry. No. Alright. Tell you what, let's... It doesn't really matter at the moment, does it? It's about boosting our replenishment too much. What do we want to do over here? We get the course of appeals over here. And there is... Who the hell is Portugal at war with to want to come up over here? They're at war with Russia. Okay. If you say so. If you say so. Alright, well, we'll bring this navy up just in case. Just in case. Because that is still, you know, it's threatening. It's making me worry about Copenhagen. We're not going to move that army there. It's not making me worry that much. I'm still worried about Mecklenburg over here backstabbing us, because I don't believe we're particularly on the best terms with them. No, we're hostile with them as well. We're actually quite hostile and unfriendly with all of the minor factions. And everyone who isn't our... We're even unfriendly with Austria. Why is that? Well, we've dishonoured treaties is the main one there. That'll probably be because we're at peace with Prussia. That'll be the same over for Russia as well. So, yeah, okay, that's with everyone. But we're untrustworthy. Don't know exactly which treaty that was that we've broken. It might just be the fact that, you know, being allied with Austria, they want really some help in the war against Prussia. And we have some 122 gun heavy rates in the English Channel, which is great stuff. You gotta love it. So that would be a nice starting fleet, really, for Cornwallis over here. I believe these were actually to boost our navy over in this area, but that's quite the large and hefty fleet now. If we look at our total outgoings for naval upkeep, it's 9,500. Army upkeep alone is 31,000. That's absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. But that's okay. That's okay. Yeah, we'll recruit some more. Because why not? Bring them over here. And construction-wise, yeah, Copenhagen's up. Just upgraded that. Have massive roads in Ajaccio and Strasbourg is excellent. Did we? Yeah, we have actually bothered to upgrade to metalled roads in our home regions. And yeah, metalled roads everywhere, which is absolutely brilliant. That's where our money's coming from. Anyone who's played this game for a good amount of time will tell you farms and roads. Farms, roads and trade. It's the big golden triangle of your Napoleon economy. Which is why even at the late tier of this game we're still piling on the trade ships into this trade node here. It is fragile though, a trade economy. So, if we're going to spy on Spain, they got a big old stack here, and a big old stack actually in Parma, as well as some reinforcing units there. So we're going to want, well, we're going to want a minimum of 2 armies there, aren't we? At the very minimum. 3 is the golden number. So we're going to bring Wellesley back over here. We do have a newly recruited 98 gunner here. That can go into Nelson's fleet fairly soon. Actually, that can go in pretty much now. I'll hold Nelson here immediately. And I think, since we're building and recruiting this new army over here, what we can do is use this to help us at Parma as well. Because, you know, recruiting these elite foot guards, what are these? The Royal Scots Greys. Want to actually use them, don't we? Want to use them. So we have 15 units in total, including the recruiting units. And I think the idea, of course, was to go down to Madrid and pick up, perhaps. No, we'll leave these as a defensive unit. We'll just keep recruiting. We'll recruit just some more line infantry, I think. You can't go wrong with that. Not too worried about loads of Lightfoot. But just because I'm very particular, I want that to be an even number. We'll actually make those the Chasseurs Britanniques. How do they compare to standard Lightfoot for us? They hide everywhere, paths seldom trod, so they can ambush in any strategic terrain. And accuracy is 44, reload 31. If we go, there's so many units here. Where are we? Okay, that's actually pretty damn decent. Quite a good upgrade there. And we'll get some more standard line, as we said, as well. A new nation arises, the Ottoman Empire. So, weirdly, I mean, the Ottoman Empire is always crushed fairly easily. But weirdly, the Austrians have lost their grasp on Greece as well, and Athens. So Greece is now an independent state. They did have hold of Istanbul. So that's clearly revolted successfully, which is great stuff. We have our recruitments. So it's just a bit of housekeeping at the moment. We'll come back to you once we have actually recruited that army and brought it down, I think. So, we've recruited that army. It's looking pretty damn decent, if I may say so myself. And you can see we're eyeing up Fortress Parma once again. So, we're not going to land on there today, guys. Going to drop that on a bombshell. It's going to be a quickie today. That is going to be the end of the video. Being a bit of a soft one, had a bit of a battle. Nothing too horrible. Got a piece with Prussia. And in the next episode, we'll be looking at finishing up this series. If our plans go to, well, according to plan, of course, go well, next episode, that'll be the end. Of course, things never really do go to plan. But, you know, we have a monstrous navy outside of Parma to really threaten just the merchantmen and the 38 gunners potentially there. Speaking of which, we do have some trade ships waiting over here. Been neglecting them. That's a massive boost to our economy once again. But, yeah, the question that remains is, how do we land on Parma? And that is the question we're going to leave us on. Do we put both of our armies on the secondary island over here and immediately wipe out this reinforcing army, and then, of course, have to deal with those losses from that battle when we go to attack Parma proper? Or do we go with one army, perhaps newly created army, over here? Because this is actually the weaker of the two major armies. It's largely standard musketeers and provincial militia. So it can take that on with some minor reinforcements. Separate that, do it all in one battle. And of course put Wellesley over here to threaten this and stop it from reinforcing, hopefully, if they can't ignore, you know, the siege over here. Because once we do land on Parma, we do have to take one turn of rest, I believe, before we can actually move up. So that's the dilemma there. We won't be able to just land and instantly besiege Parma. So that's a question. We'll have to think about that over the next week. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching once again. Do very much appreciate it. I do apologise once again for the massive gap in between videos. This has been going on for quite some time, this series, and it's not helped by the multiple gaps. So thank you for staying with it, and I shall see you for perhaps the finale next week. Have a good week, everyone, and I shall see you in the future. May all of your nights and days be auspicious. Goodbye.